2022, we have this issue with Clark, and we have this issue with EAZE. EAZE can't come up with the money for their bills. They can't come up with the money for the loans. And dude, like, all right, so this is an ongoing case right now.
Yeah.
Here's one of the most important things any of us can do, in my opinion. All right.
You know, they were operating and serving a market with a combined value of nearly 10 billion.
Conglomeration of 500,000 square feet of growing space, and I believe 56 retail locations. Where did this all start? Yeah. Welcome to Break the Cipher.
Yeah.
It's the BTC.
Here we are.
We really appreciate you. We really need you. We really need your support. Like us, follow, subscribe. We're going to keep trying to bring you guys like great information about the cannabis industry. Sometimes it's going to be good. Sometimes it's going to be bad. Most of the time it's going to be underreported. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the point. You know, we got to kind of keep these things rolling. And, you know, a lot of the news in cannabis is actually really important, but we don't really know that it's going on. You know, like so many businesses, you know, so many people, so many employees. You know, there could be a good event, or there could be like, oh, this business just got shut down, and why? You know, and it almost feels to me, because like I've had a cannabis business for a long time, and a lot, you know, there's been a lot of concern over the years where it's like, you know, what if this or what if that? Like, am I going to shut down? And if I do get shut down, is everybody just going to forget about me? Like, it's just going to be like dust in the wind. Like, none of that ever happened. Nobody ever is there to like echo the story or support your cause or your injustice, or be like, that's not all right. You know, like, and a lot of times I feel like, yeah, that is that way. Actually, today we're kind of looking at a story that like we think needs to be echoed, you know?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I feel for you, man. It's tough to think of like all the hard work, all the hours, years of dedication that you put into this business just for, you know, one incident to happen, and then bam, everything is just erased, disappeared. There's no story to follow. There's no opportunity to be able to voice your side of the story. That's unfair. That's why we're here. We're here to shine a light on that and let it be known, hey, things are happening and it's not right. We need to do something about it. So we're bringing you the news that's underreported. And in this case, there is an instance where a business did go under. And guess what? Their story is being swept under the rug. And that's not okay.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely appears that way. It's a good story. I think you guys have probably got wind of it, especially if you're in Colorado. If you're not in Colorado, this is still a very relevant story to you. If you are involved in cannabis industry anywhere, this is relative, okay? Because things, injustices, all the time happen to cannabis businesses, and they're not really televised. They're not really spoken about in the same way as if they occurred in other industries. You know, like you have big cases of, you know, financial issues or fraud, or somebody stealing, or Ponzi schemes or anything like that. And it's in an industry that is a more secular, common industry. And you will hear about it, obviously. You know, you'll probably see it on the New York Times and the Post, and, you know, maybe you will see it on ABC News on your television, or whatever it may be. And you might see it a couple of times over. Like, it might be like if there's a case going on for years, you will definitely be reconnected to it. But there's already been a lot of cases like that in cannabis, and, you know, the original headline comes out, and then it's almost like we stop paying attention, as if the underlying issue no longer matters, because we're talking about the fact that cannabis is being sold. And that I have a problem with, you know, like I fear that, like I said at the beginning, it's just like, what happens if somebody just comes in, I'm like shut down, it's just like poof, never existed. But really, I've been doing this for 15 years. I view myself as a pioneer in the cannabis industry. I mean, 2009 is pretty early on. I don't want to be like, tout my home, but still, it's like, I've been doing this for a while. I feel like my story is good. I don't want it to just be lost because nobody is made to care about it. And so, I feel like today we got a story to kind of go over. I mean, it's a huge business in Colorado and Florida. A conglomeration of 500,000 square feet of growing space, and I believe 56 retail locations. And that's between Colorado and Florida. And I'm talking about Green Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And I've kind of known these guys for a long time because they've actually been competitors of mine. Like our little businesses in Telluride. We have a bunch of little mom and pops. We did have a Green Dragon move in, right? The general feeling around that for most of us business owners is like, we don't want a Green Dragon around, right? They're like the Walmart. I mean that in the nicest ways, but those guys are bigger and, they can buy more product and they have more money and rah. And so I was trying not, when I saw this story come out, I was trying not to get caught up in that. Like everyone's got like their opinions on businesses. Maybe you like Green Dragon, maybe you don't like Green Dragon. They did something bad to you. They're your competitor. Maybe you fucking love them. Maybe you love them. The point is I'm like looking at this story and I'm hearing from people. Some people are like, oh, that sucks. Some people are like, oh, good riddance. And it's like, wait, let's dive into this thing. Like what happened? And I do remember in Telluride, like it was around 2021. Okay. I'm a shop owner up there. One of their stores is in Telluride. And there's this whole like crazy thing around licensing in Telluride because Green Dragon signed this agreement with this new company called EAZE. And EAZE was like one of the biggest delivery services for the cannabis industry in the nation. Okay. And they signed an agreement with EAZE where they sold Green Dragon, the owners of Green Dragon, Andrew, Alex, Lisa, they sold it to EAZE for shares in EAZE. And EAZE was like this, I don't know, I think it was being touted as like a $700 million company in their valuation. And so they traded their Green Dragon shares, all of them, for EAZE shares. And EAZE became the parent company and Green Dragon became the DBA, doing business as. And so after that, I was like, holy shit, that's fucking crazy. That's crazy. Like EAZE is a big company. There's lots of investors. And it just seemed wild to me. And the town of Telluride was like, I remember they were about to make every owner that's involved with EAZE, which I believe is in the thousands maybe, because I think they're publicly traded. The town of Telluride was going to make every owner fill out a yearly application to be selling weed in Telluride, which is kind of laughable, but that is the way the regulations are written in Telluride. It's very, very specific in the cannabis industry. It's pretty crazy, but yeah, it was a big deal in Telluride. So this whole deal between Green Dragon and EAZE, like I found out about it from the Telluride Daily Planet, and now I'm sitting here years, because that was 2021. Now I'm sitting here years later and I see this headline in the news. It was like last week. It's like Green Dragon shutting down all of its Colorado operations and I think all of its Florida operations as well. And yeah, at first I was like, what? I started to look into it. I talked to Emerson about it and there's some shit, you guys. I mean, we're not lawyers. We're not judges. We're just a couple of stoners, and we're reading these news stories, and we really think this story needs to be echoed. Whether you like Green Dragon or not, this world is built on principles. And we want to kind of tell the story here. So, we're going to crack into it a little bit further. But so where did this all start, Emerson? I see like 2021.
Yeah, exactly.
Kinda...
So, like, going off of what you said, I, know of Green Dragon as the prominent shop in Telluride and as a bigger chain, kind of going up against all these mom and pop shops. And so for that reason alone, I prefer to shop local. I haven't really given them much business, but I have stopped in and, seen what they got to offer, made some purchases in the past. But this really is coming out of left field. I never expected someone with so much foot in the game and then merging up with such a huge conglomerate on top of that to ever go under. Like, that just wasn't even in my mind. So just from that standpoint, I know there's something else going on in this story. There's some other key players that are operating behind the scenes, pulling some strings, making shit happen. And I want to look deeper. And so here we are with the story, with some digging deep knowledge. There's a little bit to uncover.
Mm-hmm. Well, I did, Emerson and I took a little bit of time before the show. It was actually quite fun, I would say. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. Investigative.
Yeah. We got into our investigative journaling hats, and that's what I'm wearing right now.
Yeah.
And it was pretty fantastic. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. And so I'm glad you guys are here with us today. I'm glad you are going to hear this. I hope we say it in the right way. And, to everybody involved, we hope we say it the right way. But otherwise, go fuck yourself. So here's what we got.
Take it from the top.
Take it from the top, yeah. We're going to take it from the top. All right, so in 2021... Can I just go over the footnotes?
Go, please.
Should I do that?
Go ahead, yeah.
All right, let me just fix this really quick. I'm trying to do this so you guys can see my face. This is an angle of my nose I don't usually like, so I'm trying to go this way. Okay, let's see here. All right, so in 2021, EAZE was worth $700 million in their evaluation. EAZE is the delivery service that Green Dragon was absorbed by. Okay, so in 2021, EAZE absorbs Green Dragon in exchange for shares in EAZE. Okay, and Green Dragon brings its cultivation capacity and retail capacity into EAZE. So we're talking like 500,000 square feet of cultivation between Colorado and Florida, and 56 operational retail stores between Colorado and Florida. I think in Florida, there's 39 stores. In Colorado, there's 17. One thing that was crazy is like in Florida, like it's like 6% of the amount of stores in Florida.
Wow.
And so a pretty big company.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, this story does need to be boosted. This is a big thing. So, okay, let's see here. And then, so we take Green Dragon's cultivation and retail, and then we bring that into the delivery network as EAZE. And that's now they're operating as a new partnership under EAZE. They have some retail stores, they have cultivation, and they have this active ongoing delivery service. And so that's kind of where we're at. Is that about right?
Yep, that's where we're at.
Okay. And then 2022, the collective new EAZE ownership, acquires a loan for $37 million from a guy named James Clark through his holdings company, right? His holdings company is called Founder JT LLC. James Clark is a billionaire. He founded, built, developed Netscape. I don't know if you remember Netscape. What was Netscape?
Netscape, early tech boom. I remember there's a lot of .coms. That's how Elon Musk made all his money selling off PayPal in those early 2000 tech boom era. So this Netscape made this man a billionaire.
Interesting. Okay, so James Clark from Netscape, he's a billionaire, right? And it's controlled by a fellow EAZE stockholder, right? Yep. Named Thomas, and I'm going to botch this. I tried so many times before the show. It is Thomas Jermaluk. Okay, and he's like one of the controllers of Founder JT LLC, owned by James Clark, controlled by Thomas. And Thomas is a shareholder owner of EAZE. Got it? Okay. So this contract comes in, like Green Dragon was like, all right, we're going to sell our shares in Green Dragon, replace them with shares in EAZE. We're coming into this situation. Everyone's like, awesome. We're like, great. A year goes by. They acquire a loan from James through his holdings company for $37 million. And one of the stipulations in the loan was if EAZE doesn't reach monthly sales targets, that Founder JT LLC has the right to seize control of the company. Okay? Yeah.
That's a little dangerous.
So at this time, too, is there some like numbers on like the marijuana industry? I feel like I remember seeing numbers on like where the marijuana industry was at, because it was like actively in decline in 2020. It's been actively in decline for years since we opened. It's been like, I mean, when we first opened, eighths were like $60 an eighth. You guys remember that?
Those are the good days. Yeah. You were making some money.
Well, yeah, it was different. It was different. I'll say
different.
That. Yeah.
No, definitely. So I have it here, right here. So Colorado's dispensaries were basically have been declining at a 7% year-over-year decline since the market peak that was in 2021. And so basically that relates to a 36% decrease. As this 7% year over year has continued, it's now in the era of a 36% decrease from market peak in 2021.
And just like as a business owner, I mean, I've been watching Colorado cannabis industry decline really since like 2014, right? Like legal, like recreational marijuana occurred 2014, January 1. We were selling weed to 21-year-olds for the first time in history.
Hey.
And from that point, yeah, it seems like about 7% a year. You know, it was like $60 an eighth out the door, or $50 an eighth out the door. And, you know, it's all based on, you know, the value of a wholesale pound. And that really changed in Colorado because there's this one law that changed. And I feel like it did create this problem. I'm going to talk more about this in a different episode. But from 2010 to 2015, there was this law in place called the 70-30 law in Colorado. And what it meant was if you were a retail shop, you also had to have a grow. You had to prove that you could grow 70% of the inventory you were selling from 2010 to 2015. And it was kind of nuts. So you couldn't have a grow if you didn't have a retail shop, and you couldn't be a retail shop if you didn't have a grow. And so that's just like the law of the land. That's what we knew. You couldn't apply for a license as a retail shop if you didn't have a grow. So that existed all the way to 2015. 2015 comes along, they pull the rug away on us. That's how I refer. And I really don't appreciate it, Colorado politicians. I'm going to tell you that right now because you really screwed the pooch. All right? You got all these people building an industry for you, following your rules, building overhead, trying to figure out how to fucking grow tons of weed.
Yeah.
Okay? On farms. I didn't know how to do that. I had to learn how to do that. I had to take on the overhead. And by the time we were stabilizing, you're like, oh, okay, you could be a standalone shop now that buys and sells weed. Or you could be a standalone grow now that just grows and sells weed. And I'm like, great. That sucks.
Good thing we built this whole infrastructure around the pre-existing regulations.
Dude, so many of us are like, what the hell? All right? What the hell? And you do owe us an answer for that. Like, honestly, that's crazy. But anyways, so all these new grows pop up, all these new shops pop up. It increases the supply in the market through the roof, which lowers the price. Hence why we see a steady decline in Colorado from 2015 to 2024. Right? The one we're talking about is the one having to do with EAZE from 2021 on. But, you know, it's like, yeah, like EAZE, the company that Green Dragon became a part of, in my opinion, predictably defaults, as Colorado cannabis has been in a steady decline for years. And yeah, 36% decrease in the market peak since that was 2021. It was like, so a 36% decrease since the market peak in 2021. So that's just 2021 to 2024. Before that, like 2015 to 2021, it was like decreasing every year because the state changed this damn law. So to me, it was like predictable. Anyways, okay. So then what happens? 2022, we have this issue with Clark, and we have this issue with EAZE. EAZE can't come up with the money for their bills. They can't come up with the money for the loans. What's up? What's it say?
Yeah, so the plot thickens. Exactly right. Yeah, they're given this loan, nearly $37 million, $36.9 million, that Clark's parent company, Founders JT, gave to EAZE. A loan in good faith. But the thing is was it in good faith? Question mark. Clark is in control of this holding company that's giving that loan out to EAZE, but he's also a shareholder, I assume, majority shareholder of EAZE. So he has the financial knowledge of both of these companies, and yet goes ahead and gives out this loan that comes back around as defaulted. EAZE then defaults on that $37 million loan. So, as part of that loan, there is stipulation. That loan comes with strings attached. There's an agreement. And part of that agreement is kind of a bombshell.
Big bombshell.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird that like we're late all the time. And if we're late on you guys out there, by the way, I'm so sorry. We're trying really hard, I swear to God. But yeah, it's like that is a bombshell. It's like if EAZE doesn't reach monthly sales targets, they have written in the loan that they have the right to seize control of the company. And obviously, I could have told you EAZE wasn't going to hit their targets anyways. Like the whole industry is depreciating in value, right?
Yeah.
Like everything else in the whole country is going up in value, but cannabis is in the deflation mode for some reason. I do not know why. It's just happening, And so, I'm actually unsure if James Clark was a owner of EAZE. I know one of the owners of EAZE. It's that guy's name I can't pronounce, Thomas Jermaluk. Ooh, that was good.
Yeah, that one sounded good.
Thomas Jermaluk is an owner of EAZE, but also the financial he is also a controller of Founders JT LLC, which is James Clark's company. And James Clark is the billionaire who had Netflix that gave the loan. Okay.
Netscape.
Are we all on the... Yeah, what did I say?
Netflix.
Did I say Netflix?
That came later. That was later on.
Look, you better not twist my words around later, you guys.
He said
all right?
Netflix.
Like, I know what you're up to. All right, Netscape.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Early
you remember
tech.
Netscape? That's like... I feel like when I was in, like, I don't know, 7th grade, which was really a long time ago now, but I think Netscape was around back then. And so, yeah, this guy was like the founder of Netscape. But this other guy who was an owner of EAZE is also a controller in some way of Founders JT LLC. And so then Clark forecloses on EAZE.
Right. The loan that they were given, JT Founders Holding Company gives to EAZE $37 million defaulted on. So then what happens? As part of that loan agreement, if they were not able to reach those monthly revenue targets, that holding company seizes control of EAZE. And EAZE has all the assets. They've partnered up with Green Dragon.
Yeah.
They have the distribution company. EAZE has all these assets.
Right? Like they just got all that cultivation. They just got all the retail space that Green Dragon had. The Green Dragon brought into EAZE. EAZE had all the delivery shit and the $700 million valuation. Okay, so it seems like a good deal. You know, I'm always like kind of apprehensive about this kind of stuff, but you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like, okay, they got the biggest delivery company in the nation and one of the biggest marijuana businesses in the nation coming together. You know, it kind of sounds like a very like, you know, it sounds like these guys are going to take over, right?
Oh, it's
like,
a power play.
It's like, it's like DoorDash plus like we grow it all and sell it all. Like, I don't know. You know, imagine if they grew burritos at DoorDash.
And had all the Chipotle stores.
Yeah. Okay. We're going crazy here. We got this growing burritos and stuff, and we also have the biggest delivery company for burritos. Nuts. I know. Okay, so all right, so Clark, it looks like forecloses on EAZE, and that's like May of 2023, I believe. As they defaulted on the loan. And so Clark's like, you owe me $37 million. You didn't hit your monthly sales targets. I'm foreclosing on your assets. And boom, we got a problem here, right?
Yeah.
And so at that point, it seems like we found that lawsuit. I don't know if you have the lawsuit, but I feel like, you know, Green Dragon, former owners of Green Dragon, because now they're owners of EAZE, Andrew, Alex, Lisa, they file a lawsuit against EAZE for defrauding investors. And my guess is that that's like they were defrauding investors on the $700 million valuation. And so I can only guess. I don't know if that's exactly what they meant by that lawsuit. But what happened to that lawsuit?
Well, the lawsuit, you know, former owners of Green Dragon do come in and they do file a lawsuit against Clark and the other board member, Thomas Jermaluk, because
I know it's hard.
It's a tricky one.
Well, let me help you. Jamolek.
Thank you. There we go.
Welcome.
There we go. That guy. That bastard. That bastard.
Son of a gun.
Yeah. They filed this lawsuit because they, initially or in retrospect or from their point of view, that's where it is, conspired to acquire EAZE and in association Green Dragon's assets at a below market value. That's why they filed the lawsuit. And I think, personally, rightly so. They have a reason to file that lawsuit because Clark has his hands in both of these. He gave out that loan and he knew where the financials were at.
And so they file a lawsuit. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, explain that to me one more time. I'm going to try and follow because I think it's really important what you just said, but I lost the train. So one more time. Can you do it one more time?
Exactly. So, from the top, Green Dragon's former owners, they file a lawsuit after this company is absolved because they defaulted on that loan. So they went ahead and filed the lawsuit to claim that EAZE defrauded investors, their shareholders, because they allegedly were close to insolvency, and that means that they were operating unlawfully. And I think they had every right to bring that case to court. But a few months later, after they bring that case to court, it was dismissed.
I wonder why it was dismissed.
Right.
You know, like, is it, I mean, like, I guess we'll have to, like, I don't know if anybody hears this and they have information about it. I feel like I would love to know the information about why that case was dismissed.
Yeah.
I'm always suspicious that cases that have to do with companies who are legitimate companies doing things a legitimate way, filling out the Census Bureau survey on time, because we gotta, I feel like those companies are getting dismissed in court. And if that's the case, then I want to know that, wouldn't you?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
You know,
If there's
like-
any information.
Yeah. Why was that case dismissed? And so here's a spot where it's almost like over a year ago, almost a year and a half ago, they're throwing up the distress signal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, all right. Now that case was dismissed, and it looks like the next thing that happens here, and I hope everybody's still following us.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we'll draw a picture of this to put in the comments so you can see the tangled web of awesome destruction and deceit. Okay. So they file, they foreclose, right?
Yep.
That's James Clark, Founders JT LLC, along with other owner of EAZE. Okay. They foreclose on EAZE. And because of that, all of the assets contained in EAZE, including what Green Dragon brought to the table, and the delivery service that was valued at $700 million, all of those assets go to auction. And what happens at the auction? So, EAZE assets, all of the EAZE assets, the Green Dragon and the EAZE, it goes to auction under foreclosure, and Founders JT LLC, James Clark, Thomas Jermalok, okay? They purchase all of those assets for how much money?
Oh, a bargain. How much money? They get all of that wrapped in a nice bow for a cool $56 million.
$56 million. So one company that in 2021 was valued at $700 million plus whatever Green Dragon was valued at for having 56 stores and 500,000 square feet of cultivation space in 2 states. They get all of that for $56 million. I mean, that's like...
That's bananas.
B-A-N-N-S.
It's bananas. $56 million. That is the deal of a lifetime. But why is Founders JT even allowed to bid on that foreclosure and purchase that when they gave out a loan to the very same company they're now purchasing? When that company defaulted on the loan, now they're able to buy out the company outright? Question marks.
Yeah. And I imagine they got some of their money back, like was that 36.9 million
Correct.
loan. Then they've been paid back on a monthly basis, assuming in some way. Okay. In an industry that they decided to get involved in that it looks like it's on the decline. And I didn't go to financial school. I didn't go to college. Okay. So I'm assuming James Clark knows more than me, but the industry is on a decline, even though it seems like more and more states are getting involved in all this stuff. Like the customer wants cheaper and cheaper product. So, and I mean, like that's in Michigan, it's super cheap. In Washington at one point, I felt like they were trying to give weed away because there was so much based on the regulation, like so much weed being produced. Same with Oregon. It's like they were trying to give it away. And so it seems like, okay, you guys maybe noticed that at some point, and you put 36.9 million in. Okay, then these guys didn't come up with the money that they needed to come up with. You got some of your money back, you foreclose on them, all their assets go to auction, you purchase all the assets again for some reason. I don't know why. Well, I don't even know what you want to do with all of it. It's all going to fall apart, I think. Like, it's not easy to grow 500,000 square feet of weed, by the way. I've tried, and then I went back down to 20,000 square feet.
Manageable.
That's a lot. It's a lot. And so anyways, yeah. So let's say, that was a $700 million valuation plus what Green Dragon brought to the table. And let's say, after the loan, the foreclosure, and the asset purchase, like you're in for a total of 70 million. Right? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
90% off.
I mean, it's an interesting story because when EAZE acquired, went into a partnership and went into consolidation with Green Dragon, they were operating and serving a market with a combined value of nearly 10 billion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. But that you corrected me earlier. That's like, so the two of them together are like the market shares that they have in their respective industries was like managing 10 billion in revenue between Florida, Colorado cannabis sales, and then delivery services.
Correct.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I see it. Is the market that they were serving was valued at nearly $10 billion, and so lots of questions, lots of confusion from my end as far as why did Green Dragon get into this deal initially, and what angle was EAZE coming at this with? Because shortly after they combined forces, they were given this loan. And was that loan really given in good faith? That's my real question, and I think that's the question of the former Green Dragon owners. They've created this establishment. They went and decided this was a good deal based on financials and valuations and charts and numbers. But at the end of the day, not even at the end of the day, at the end of a couple years later, look where they're at now.
Yeah, and I mean, I've like met these guys. I've met them in Telluride at licensing. I met Andrew. I met Alex. I have not met Lisa. Okay, and like, I mean, we're cool because I'm a nice guy and they're nice guys. But they're like they were like legitimately my direct competition, and they are kind of like the big guy, and so it's not like we had like a great relationship. There's no reason for me to even be like on their side at all. And I don't know if I am on their side because I just feel confused about it. But it does seem fishy to me. And I feel like if this kind of thing happened in a different industry, it didn't have to do with cannabis, I feel like it wouldn't seem like it was like being swept under the rug. I mean, we're talking about like people's livelihoods, people who have worked on this. I mean, like Andrew and Alex have worked tirelessly on this for years. Lisa has worked tirelessly, and I don't know anything about the EAZE guys. I'm sure they also had like good intentions, but I feel like something happened in between because like, like I feel like Andrew, I had like a 5-minute conversation with him outside the Telluride firehouse. And he's like, I feel like a financial consultant or advisor. So he kind of knows his shit. He's not like a nitwit, he knows his stuff. And so I was kind of surprised that, like, number one, these big deals scare me. We never got involved with anybody and we always needed money, but there was like a lot of times we would meet people that were like willing to give us money. And we were like, I don't know, man, like, it doesn't seem like we could get through a legal battle with these people. And that was true. And so we never did, we've always been like just struggling, and many people know we struggle in the most beautiful ways. Okay. I will say that I have found so much joy in the struggle, in being broke, in being pushed around and bullied by the state. And like, I'm just like, whatever, man. I'm just like a leaf in the wind right now. Like, can't stop me now.
Hell no.
And I love it. And like, we got like our crew, we're like a band of brothers, and we figured out that like, it wasn't money that was ever going to make us happy. And, I think one day it will make us a little bit happier, but we'll see. I'll let you guys know. Hopefully that happens one day. But yeah, we were always apprehensive about, working with large companies or billionaires or anything. And so, yeah, so like, that's where we're at. Like EAZE defaults, EAZE defaults and James Clark, founders, JT LLC, forecloses. The EAZE assets go into auction. Clark's holding company, founders JT, which is controlled by a previous owner and shareholder of EAZE, Thomas Jamoluk. We can't say it. We can't pronounce it. That company purchases all those assets. And the one thing that I feel like, dude, is like, I don't care if you're my competition or if you're hurting my business or anything like that. Like, I don't want like injustice to exist in this because why? Because it's cannabis. Like, we can't like treat this like the Murdochs. Like, I don't know. Like, what the fuck is this? Is this legit? Like, why was the case dismissed from court? Why was the original distress signal ignored? I really want to know that because I don't know. But we're here for it, right? Like,
Oh yeah, no, that's the real question for sure. And they actually filed another lawsuit after that first one got dismissed.
really?
Yes, yeah, they came back again and they said, no, look, we have every right to kind of keep pursuing this. And so basically, from my understanding, is they filed another lawsuit. I don't know where that stands as of right now. Kind of trying to find it. But at the end of the day, Green Dragon now is seizing their operations, all of them. Statewide in Colorado, I believe down in Florida as well, by year's end.
Yeah, and that really means that's EAZE.
Yep.
EAZE is seizing the operation because Green Dragon's just the DBA, the doing business as. Where like you could have like, whatever the hell LLC and then be doing business as like all these different companies, and like this is like the parent company up here. Like, and if you're just listening, I'm doing all this like design work with my fingers right now, so sorry about you. Check out YouTube, I guess. But all right, so there's two laws. Did the second one get dismissed?
The second one is still open, I believe. So the second lawsuit was filed against EAZE on August 6th to investigate whether Clark and board member Thomas Jamoluk conspired to acquire... Jamoluk.
Say his name.
That second lawsuit is still out there, whether they conspired to acquire the company's EAZE's assets at below market value. They're coming at it again. And I think rightly so. I mean, at this point, it sounds like EAZE made out like a bandit with their deal, purchasing this company for cheap at auction because they're,
Founders JT.
Correct. Thank you. Yeah. They purchased this Founders for JT. A deal. And now I don't know what they're doing, but there's employee layoffs. There's liquidations coming. It sounds like San Francisco-based EAZE Technologies, Inc., the largest cannabis delivery service in the country, with operations throughout California, Michigan. Obviously, they teamed up with Green Dragon out in Colorado here and Florida. So they announced earlier this month that it is winding down operations with plans to lay off roughly 500 union workers.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dude, where is Sean O'Brien?
Yes.
Sean O'Brien in the house. Are you around, my friend? Like, what are you saying about this? I mean, like, those are 500 union workers already?
Yes.
I mean, someone's got to call Sean O'Brien.
I'm serious. Yes. Sean O'Brien, get him on the line. Like, he needs to know about this. This is breaking news.
Yeah.
This is EAZE coming in, partnering with an established Colorado-based company, Green Dragon, and just a few years later, they're out here getting them at auction, defaulting on a loan from a parent company. And now the parent company purchases the entire EAZE operations at a bargain. And 500 union workers are getting laid off.
And dude, like, all right, so this is an ongoing case right now.
Yeah.
Here's one of the most important things any of us can do, in my opinion. All right. One of the most important things that we can do is shine a light on, because the courts need to know that we're paying attention. They need to know that they can't just dismiss this as cannabis. Sorry, but you can't. Like, we contribute to this economy now. We're talking 15 years these guys have been in business, paying employees, paying income tax, Medicare, Social Security, all of the above. All right? This can't be ignored. Let the courts know you're watching too. And you know what we want is we want a just ruling. And we don't know what that is, but we want the judge to be a judge and to not figure in that, like, you know, they either agree or disagree with cannabis, but be a judge for a business that was operating legitimately in a country, paying into the country, filling out the Census Bureau survey. You know, one time I didn't fill that survey out, they showed up.
No way.
Yeah. And then the rest of the time, I'm a drug cartel.
But
So
when it's
listen.
census time.
Listen, we need to make sure we're paying attention to this case. I need to figure out that too. Where is it occurring? Where's the information on it? It can't get dismissed just because it's cannabis. We want it to be ruled fairly based on the law and the Constitution. Right?
Oh, yeah. No, that's what this country is founded on. Like, we have legal
Goddamn
representation.
Right.
We have
Goddamn right it is.
we have different branches of the government. We have a legislative and judicial process that we have to go through. And that's the way it is because that's the fair way to do it. And if cases are getting dismissed and they're having to come back and reintroduce the case to maybe a different judge, I don't know, but what are we doing? There is obviously something up. There's something afoot. Something's going on. And we're trying to get to the bottom of it. We're trying to break the cipher.
Yeah, we got to break the cipher. And you know what? Breaking the cipher, I mean, just more and more, there's more ways to think about it. Like, just like we were talking about at the beginning with podcasts and media, like how we get our media, that's a way to break the cipher. Get into podcasts a little more. Listen, we are still getting set up. We have an email address. It's breakthecipherpodcast@gmail.com. We'll put it somewhere below, wherever you are. We imagine that you're above it, so we'll put it below where you are. But breakthecipherpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Insta and X and YouTube. But we want to hear from you. And like, this is not, number one, this is not the first time that this has happened. This is not the first business that is like going through this. There's other businesses around me shutting down, huge grows, all this stuff. Like, you guys need to know about that stuff before you get all excited about this like legalization word out there. Like, you know, we need to deregulate. We need to treat this like alcohol or better. Okay. Like, I opened a liquor store, I think, for like $50. I have no idea, but we need to get on board together. We need to unify. We need a voice. We need to move together. We need to pay attention, right? Because this is breaking news. This is like something we need to be paying attention to. And so find us, like us, share us, tell your neighbor, Mark, about us, whatever.
Spread the word. Spread the good word. Break the Cipher is here to shine a light and to get things heard. We need it. We need it to circulate. We need to have the discussion. We need to hear from you. We want to hear from you. What's happening? What are you up to? What's going on? Because we're here to bring it out to light, to make sure it gets heard.
So yeah, you guys got something to say? Bring it up. Find us. We're here for it. We need you. But we want to be your voice. And you know, otherwise, I think this is the longest episode in BTC history. What time is it?
Oh, we've been rolling. Who knows what time it is? We've just been getting at it.
Dude, we need a basketball hoop. All right, that was a good one. I think
That's a sweet.
I'm gonna guess 1 hour 18. I'm not looking at it. The computer screen's resting. That little lazy screen over there. But I think it's about time for us to go. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. I hope this was entertaining for you. Some of it's not always going to be light, but we will try to be lighthearted. And like we said, hit us up. We got nothing but love for you.
Yep.
All right? So like, subscribe, follow, share that shit.
We'll see you next time on Break the Cipher.